Surrounding the town of Leeds, Utah, there's a foreboding sense of days gone by. As the howling winds swirl through headstones from the 1800s and early 1900s, you can almost hear the voices of miners, pioneers, and farmers. While some struggle to make a living off the arid land, prospectors dug into the sandstone hills in search of prosperity. Their faces are no longer here, just the remnants of their lives. We know their names. We know their stories. A pioneer named Orson Adams once owned this home in a town called Harrisburg. In the fall of 1866, he allowed a renter to stay here with his family, John Kemple. And Kemple made an astonishing discovery in the silvery sandstone reef nearby. He found silver in them thar hills.
Silver Reef is very unusual. It's the only place in the United States where silver was found in sandstone.
As word of Kemple's discovery spread, people from throughout the nation began to descend on what would become the town of Silver Reef.
Originally it was actually called Rock Pile by the miners because, you know, they had a lot of rocks around here, and miners are kind of simple about their terms.
Well, it was in every way one of those mining towns that you read about in terms of shootouts and saloons and claim jumping. There were a lot of people here who came after the railroad finished its run across the country. Some Chinese, there was a Chinese community here, quite a large Chinese community. There were Irish, there were Welsh, there were Cornish. I mean, it's a real mixing pot.
At one time, Silver Reef was apparently the largest town in Washington County. They were afraid it was going to become the county seat.
Those people didn't stay long. It was about 12 years in the town itself because the silver ended. I mean, there wasn't enough silver to keep them employed. So the mining time ended. But then the remnants are still here from those years.
The ore in the sandstone hills was played out, and the price of silver plummeted. The lifeblood of Silver Reef dried up. Meanwhile, the neighboring town of Harrisburg flooded, forcing homeowners to move to Leeds. Leeds became the site of a CCC camp during the Great Depression and a remote hub of activity for the LDS Church. Now, everywhere, there are rich traces of our past set among these sandstone hills.
The White Reef against the Red Cliffs, against Pine Valley Mountain. I mean, it is stunning country, absolutely stunning country. Almost any direction you walk, it's a wonderful place to spend time.
We get people that come in the museum and they want to know where can they hike, where can they camp.
So a group of residents has a plan to tie Old Harrisburg, Silver Reef, and Leeds together with a trail. It will be a trail of 3 towns.
It would connect this museum, which we're standing in front of, down about 3 miles to the Adams House, which is now part of the Red Cliffs National Conservation Area. The Adams House has been completely restored, like this building is restored.
So it would be great to connect that to Silver Reef because our histories are completely connected.
Along the trail, who knows what you'll find? You'll see old mining shafts, pumps and hoists, and really cool rocks. A bag of gold coins was even found when one of the old buildings was demolished. So whether it's a slow walk in the sun or a brisk jog, you're destined for a journey through time.
I think when you know the history of where you live, makes it a much more interesting place to live. And this has a fascinating history.
And you got to run from those ghosts, you know, so that's a good idea to have a connection, you know, an escape route, I guess.
For the Utah League of Cities and Towns, I'm Susan Wood in Leeds, Utah.